The war in Ukraine has entered a new, perilous phase. After years of devastation, a shocking twist, North Korea is preparing to send tens of thousands of troops to fight alongside Russia. This move marks a dramatic escalation, signaling a deepening alliance between two of America's most hostile adversaries. Intelligence from the US and South Korea confirms that North Korea is not just supplying weapons, but deploying its own soldiers, an estimated 30,000. Their arrival could tip the balance on the battlefield, giving Russia a critical boost as it launches a new offensive in the Kursk region. For Ukraine and its allies, this is a nightmare scenario, a fresh, unpredictable enemy entering an already brutal conflict. The world is watching anxiously as the lines of global alliances are redrawn in real time. The partnership between Russia and North Korea, once a relic of the Cold War, is now a dangerous reality. This development raises urgent questions. Why is North Korea taking this risk? What does it hope to gain? And how will Ukraine respond? As the world holds its breath, we examine the facts behind this unprecedented deployment. This is a pivotal moment, with consequences that could reach far beyond Ukraine's borders. Let's break down what this means for the war, and for global security. The evidence for North Korea's deployment is clear and alarming. US and South Korean officials have tracked large troop movements, and satellite images show massing soldiers near the Russian border. These are not routine drills. These are preparations for war. 30,000 North Korean troops are being readied, a force larger than some European armies. They're drawn from elite units including Special Operations and Engineering Corps, and will cross into Russia by train before heading to Ukraine's front lines. The logistics are daunting, but the shared border makes the initial transfer swift. Intelligence suggests the first wave could arrive in the Kursk region within weeks. These troops aren't just cannon fodder, they'll be integrated into Russian command, tasked with building fortifications, operating artillery, and engaging in direct combat. North Korea is also sending military engineers, vital for rebuilding Russian defenses and infrastructure. This deployment is the result of a year of high-level meetings between Putin and Kim Jong-un, culminating in a new strategic partnership treaty with a mutual defense clause. Sending troops to Ukraine is the first real test of this alliance. It's a bold demonstration that their partnership is more than words. It's boots on the ground. The world is about to witness the consequences. Why would Kim Jong-un risk sending his soldiers to a distant war? For North Korea, the Ukraine conflict is a rare chance to gain real combat experience, something its massive army hasn't had in decades. This live-fire training could expose weaknesses and sharpen tactics for future conflicts, especially on the Korean peninsula. Economically, North Korea is desperate. In exchange for troops, it expects food, fuel, and most importantly, advanced Russian military technology, potentially including fighter jet designs and satellite tech. Such technology would dramatically increase North Korea's threat to its neighbors and the US ideologically. Both regimes see the US as their main enemy. By joining Russia, Kim elevates his status and signals defiance to the West. This move also repays Russia for past support, recognizing separatist regions and supplying Russia with artillery and missiles. Now, by sending soldiers, North Korea cements its role as a reliable ally, ensuring continued Russian backing at the UN and beyond. For Kim, it's a calculated gamble: gain experience, resources, and prestige, while deepening ties with Moscow. The risks are high, but so are the potential rewards. North Korea is all in. For Russia, North Korean troops are a lifeline. After years of heavy losses, Russia faces a manpower crisis. But mobilizing more Russians is politically dangerous. North Korean soldiers provide fresh manpower without domestic backlash. These aren't just extra bodies, they're skilled in artillery and fortifications, key assets for Russia's war of attrition. North Korean engineers can build trenches, bunkers, and anti-tank defenses, making Ukrainian advances even harder. Their presence sends a psychological message: Russia is not isolated and can draw on allies for support. This could demoralize Ukrainian forces and complicate Western narratives of Russian isolation. North Korean troops can hold defensive lines and perform high-risk tasks, freeing up elite Russian units for critical operations. Integrating foreign troops won't be easy, but the strategic benefits are too great for Moscow to ignore. The battlefield is about to change. The first impact of North Korean troops will be felt in the Kursk region, where Russia is struggling to repel a Ukrainian incursion. 30,000 fresh soldiers could tip the scales, overwhelming Ukrainian defenses and helping Russia regain lost ground. North Korean units will likely secure flanks, clear towns, and build new defensive lines, creating a formidable challenge for Ukraine. If this deployment succeeds, more North Korean troops could follow, giving Russia a sustainable manpower pipeline. Ukraine and its allies must now rethink their entire strategy. Attrition alone may no longer be enough. The war is no longer just Ukraine versus Russia, it's a coalition fight. The arrival of North Korean troops adds unpredictability and raises the risk of even greater brutality. Their discipline and anti-Western ideology could escalate violence and complicate prisoner treatment. For Ukrainian soldiers, facing a new foreign enemy is a daunting psychological blow. The conflict is entering uncharted territory. News of North Korea's intervention has triggered global outrage. Western leaders have condemned the move as a reckless escalation and a violation of international law. The US and its allies warn of severe consequences for both Moscow and Pyongyang. South Korea is especially alarmed, fearing that battle-hardened North Korean troops could one day threaten the peninsula. The United Nations has called for an immediate halt, but any Security Council action will be blocked by Russia and likely China. China, meanwhile, remains silent, balancing support for Russia with a desire to avoid further alienating the West. Many countries in the global South are hesitant to take sides, seeing the conflict as distant. The fractured response highlights deep divisions in global politics. A unified stance against aggression is proving elusive. The world is more divided than ever. The stakes keep rising. The US has responded with resolve, vowing that this escalation will not go unanswered. Washington is coordinating closely with allies, sharing intelligence and presenting a united front. New sanctions are being prepared, targeting North Korean and Russian entities involved in the deployment. The goal, make it as hard as possible for Russia to pay North Korea for its support. The US is also boosting its military presence in the Indo-Pacific, reassuring South Korea and Japan. Military aid to Ukraine is increasing with advanced weapons and drones to counter the new threat. The message to Kyiv US support remains unwavering no matter who joins the fight. Diplomatically, the US is working to isolate Russia and North Korea, urging neutral nations to take a stand. This is no longer just a regional conflict, it's a global challenge to sovereignty and order. The long-term goal: ramp up pressure until Moscow and Pyongyang reconsider their alliance. The world is being forced to choose sides. The US is determined not to let this new axis go unchallenged. The stakes for global security have never been higher. North Korea's deployment is a catalyst for global instability. The risk of escalation is real. One misstep could draw more nations into direct conflict. This move cements a new axis of authoritarian states: Russia, North Korea, and to a lesser extent, Iran and China. Their cooperation in Ukraine is a test run for broader military and economic alliances. The consequences are global rising tensions in Northeast Asia, a potential arms race, and a fragile peace on the Korean peninsula at risk. North Korea's reward, advanced Russian technology, could accelerate its nuclear and missile programs, undermining non-proliferation efforts. If Russia helps North Korea's nuclear ambitions, the global order is in jeopardy. Other nations may pursue their own nuclear weapons, believing the rules no longer apply. The world stands on the brink of a new, more dangerous nuclear age. All of this, sparked by desperate choices on Ukraine's battlefields. North Korea's decision to send troops to Ukraine is a turning point, transforming a regional war into a global confrontation. The conflict now pits Ukraine and the West against a growing authoritarian bloc led by Russia. For Ukraine, the challenge is greater than ever, facing not just Russia but a coalition of hostile states. The international response, especially sustained military and financial support, will be crucial for Ukraine's survival. The consequences extend far beyond Europe: a new arms race, destabilization in Asia, and a shattered, non-proliferation regime. The Russia-North Korea alliance, born of desperation, threatens to make the world far more dangerous. As conflicts spread, new actors are drawn in, creating cascading crises across regions. The choices made now will shape global security for decades. The stakes have never been higher. The world must confront this new reality before it's too late.